Hi there. Based on some comments in recent videos, I thought it might be useful to give you a quick overview of the automation rule editor within Fairbot. This dialog here is the editor that allows you to specify when creating strategies what Fairbot needs to do and when to do it within an event, within a market. And it's split up into three separate sections. There's the general tab, the action tab, and the conditions. So this allows you to specify to Fairbot when, what, and how. So using the general tab, you can clearly see you can have a rule enabled or disabled. Obviously disabling it, it won't take any part in a strategy when it's looking at the market. And that can be useful if you're testing things and you just want to switch a rule on and off. But generally speaking, of course, when the strategy is live, that would be enabled. The rule name is obvious, but this box here, this window, the general tab, allows you to specify a time frame in which this rule will be active. That's not to say it will be firing, it's just going to be active. So you specify a start time, you'll need this, and you can have a set time of a time and a date relative to the start time before or after, and relative to the in-play time after the event turns in play. So with that setting alone, the action, the rule will become active within the market. It won't necessarily be doing anything, more of that later. But you can specify also a stop option, which has exactly the same kind of settings you can specify. And that allows you to put an end to when that action or the rule will become inactive within the market. That doesn't mean that anything that rule has done in the market, like placing bets, that doesn't mean that those bets will suddenly be cancelled. They will be still active within the market. So you have to have a mechanism whereby you do some sort of manipulation on existing bets. So these two settings here allow you to specify that time frame, that window. In addition, you have this execution option here. Now, by default, any action that you specify within your rule will only happen once when that action gets triggered. But you can specify the action count here, and what will happen is that action will be triggered X number of times specified by here, and after each execution has been fired, it will wait a certain number of settings specified here, and it will try to fire it again. Now I say try because that doesn't necessarily mean it will, because if I jump to the conditions tab allows you to specify restrictions on when a particular action will be carried out. So if the conditions that you specify in here have not been fully met, so for example the market may have moved and those conditions are no longer true, when it comes to fire the next execution, whatever action that you've specified may not go into the market, and it will sit and wait until those conditions are met again. And when they're met again, even though that takes longer than the 15 seconds I have specified here, if those conditions are not met, the execution won't happen again until such times as they do. So just be aware of that. That figure there isn't set on stone. It's also governed by whatever conditions you have specified here. Now within the Action tab, this is where you specify Fairbot what to do. And generally speaking, these consist of mainly event manipulation things or bet manipulation actions where you're placing some form of bet or trade or cancelling bets or trades. There's one or two others that don't do anything in the market such like that, for example, playing a sound or sending an email and so on. So whatever it is you choose to do in here will be restricted by whatever it is you choose to do in here. If you have no conditions specified, that action will be triggered immediately. The time window opens up. If you have restrictions in here, that can hold back the triggering of that action until such times as those conditions are met. And you can have any number of conditions in this box. Now, I'm not going to go and specify and look into individual conditions, but they're all listed here and they're organized in 4 different columns. These are market related conditions, conditions specific to a particular runner or player in the market. These are related to your Betfair account. And this one here allows you to check whether another rule within the same strategy has fired or not. And that rule number of executions is effectively related to this thing here. And within the action tab, going back to here, anything that you do within the market, so let's say place a BSP bet, involves the same thing. You have to choose what event, runner or player or competitor in the market that you wish this action to be acted upon. And so you have a number of options here, from doing every single runner to basing your selection on name, specifying it before the event, or specifying it based on what the odds are, the volumes are, and so on and so forth. I will let you explore that as and when. So in here, you must have a selection specified in order to place a bet, and the conditions, generally speaking, you'll have to have some form of identifier that looks at a particular runner in the market to check its condition. So those are essentially the same sort of layouts for every condition and action that you're looking for. But it's the general tab that perhaps might be the most misleading with regard to the execution count time and indeed this stop at option. Okay, I hope that makes things a little bit clearer, and some things that you need to look at if you think your rules aren't firing or behaving correctly. I may actually at some later date do a quick video on troubleshooting a strategy definition that's not working the way you thought it should be working. But that'll be for another video. For now, cheers and have a good day trading. Bye.